I'm on a journey to get better, and I want to do it with you. And I'm not just focusing on physical health. I'm focusing on everything: emotional wellness, spirituality, finances, relationships, and so much more. Every week, it will be my personal goal to bring us, the world's leading healers, experts, and game changers, to share groundbreaking secrets and tips to getting better in all areas of life. Getting better isn't easy, but it's a whole lot easier when we can do it together. Welcome to Better Together with me, Maria Menounos. Happy Monday, everybody. Glad to be back with you again. This time from the East Coast. I am christening my East Coast studio that happens to be in my home. Very excited. My husband built this for me so that I can be home more. I am joined by Mckenzie Fain, although you have a new last name, I believe, now.
Yes, so weird. I can't.
What's your last name now? I don't
Frank.
even know. Oh, yeah, we talked about this. Mckenzie Frank.
Yeah, but the worst part about it is my name is Mckenzie Francis Fain Frank.
No way.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to keep the Fain,
Mckenzie
but like
Francis Fain Frank. Oh, my Lord.
So many Fs.
That's amazing. Well, Mckenzie is in studio with us, and she's been an aspiring host who has hosted with us at AfterBuzz and has worked with us at AfterBuzz, and so she happens to live in Connecticut, so she broadcasts from here. What shows do you do for us at AfterBuzz?
I do the whole Teen Mom franchise.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
That's super popular still. It's crazy.
It's the craziest thing.
Yeah.
It's been on for 10 years.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you do the shows from here, so you've been in the studio before. I actually have my home studio in LA, and then I have AfterBuzz Studios. So Kevin's renovating my home studio in LA. So I've been working out of the AfterBuzz Studios, which has been actually kind of cool to broadcast from there. And now I'm over here, so I'm probably confusing all of you with how many studios I have. But yeah, I have a few.
You have all the studios.
I have a couple on each coast.
It's so cool because they're all so different.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like you're jumping into tons of different styles.
I know. And it's neat because I get to come home. And that was the whole point of building this one is, you know, my mom's sick and my dad is sick as well and tired. And so I wanted to be able to spend more time. So I was I had to go to New York to host Live with Kelly.
Yeah. How was that?
Last week. It was so much fun.
You looked awesome. It looked so fun.
Thanks. I literally was so giddy. It was so much fun. That crowd, that audience has such a great energy. And I don't know, it's fun because we're talking about funny things like a dog that has a mustache that looks like Salvador Dali. And, you know, Ryan caught a fly and people were like, why is
the avocado.
Yeah. People were like, why was she puking? She's so dramatic. First of all, I know I'm dramatic. My parents have been telling me this since I was born. They're like, they used to call me Hollywood because I was so dramatic. And so clearly we knew what my destiny was at a young age, but I have dealt with some rat infestations in my lifetime, especially cleaning nightclubs. So I know where flies live. They live on dead rats.
Oh, come on.
And then it's on our avocado and on our table. That's why I wanted to puke. And people were like, she's so dramatic. I hate her.
All right,
like,
put them in those situations. I'm sure they would have puked.
I just was so grossed out because it was just, I don't know. I was transported to that. But anyway, I had a great time in New York. I was also taking some meetings on some really cool projects that I'm working on. So I was like high off of everything. And then I had planned on sneaking my dad away to Milwaukee because from New York, I was going to Milwaukee for Rally Health. So for those of you who don't know, I'm an ambassador for Rally Health. Rally Health is a digital online healthcare company. So basically, they try to simplify healthcare for people. They provide online technology so you can pick your doctor and they incentivize you to get screenings. And so everything's there. There's no bills coming to your house and all the crazy paperwork. They try to simplify everything. And so we have congruent missions in life to get people to take those steps to be healthier. And my dad, when we were in LA and taking care of my mom, I snuck him away for one night to San Francisco for one of these trips, and Kevin Hart was an ambassador at the time. And I realized that my dad and I had never been alone together. Like, we've never traveled together or done anything because we always did everything as a unit. And we had so much fun and we were laughing, and he needed that break then. And I've realized that, you know, he's going to need more of those because it's really overwhelming taking care of someone, especially when someone's mind isn't 100% right,
Mhm.
like with my mom. And so we contacted Mckenzie, who's wonderful and takes my mom on the weekends to get her nails done and all things like that. And we're like, can you stay with her for a couple days so we can sneak Dad off? He needs another break.
I was like, absolutely in.
So cute.
She's so awesome, though. We had a blast. It was
she loves you. First of all, they love you like another daughter. I watched my dad. So Mckenzie got married here on our property in Connecticut just a few weeks ago. And I'm getting videos. And my dad is like sitting there looking on like it's his daughter getting married. He's like so emotional. I was like,
I love him.
It was the cutest thing. But my parents love you and my mom had so much fun with you. And you guys were sending me videos. She was teaching you how to Greek dance.
It was so awesome. We were in the driveway, the circle driveway, just dancing around. She was teaching
Just
me.
you
We
two.
put on all, just us.
Yeah. I love it.
We were sweating at the end.
But this is what I love about you, Mckenzie. You have such a beautiful spirit. Like, other people wouldn't do that. Like, it makes me want to cry.
Oh my God. Thank you so much. I love you guys so much. I mean, it didn't even cross my mind to not.
Thank you.
No, I mean, I love her. I love you guys. And it's just really an honor to be able to be there when someone is in need. And I think you are that person. When someone is in need, you are always there. And I think I've grown up, and probably a lot of people don't know, but I've grown up knowing you. I was like 13 years old when I met you guys. Mm-hmm. So I really do think that a lot of who I am today is because of you. And I'm just honored to be able to do this interview with you because there's so many people out there that need to know the secrets to being a Maria Menounos. I swear to God.
I love it.
It's just perfect. So.
That is what is on deck for you guys today on this podcast is Mckenzie is going to interview me once I stop crying. And she is going to give you all the secrets to success and career and all of that. We're going to do a two-parter. Mainly because there's a lot to cover, but also I'm back here, and why not? We're booking other guests for when I'm back in Los Angeles. We have an amazing guest actually coming up after this series, so in 3 weeks technically. I'm currently reading that book, but I kind of want to be back here for as long as I can right now. Like, I think for the week that I was going to go home, I might stay here.
You need to. It's a sanctuary here.
Well, I've been sleeping.
Love it.
I've actually been sleeping. And so Keven kept saying, like, when he was out here for 3 weeks, he was setting it all up and, you know, getting your wedding ready. And he's like, it's so clean. I've de-hoarded. It's beautiful. You're going to love it. You're going to be able to rest. And, you know, I really want to start throwing like kind of like wellness retreats here.
Yeah. Why do you think you're sleeping?
Because I don't have the dogs waking me up, which we did kick the dogs out recently. I think also there's just something about this place that I always can sleep. When Keven and I come here, we always sleep.
Really?
And I have been so overtired lately. And even just New York with the time difference and everything going on in Milwaukee, which was so much fun. We went to the Wisconsin State Fair. And we ate cream puffs, and I made my dad go down that big giant slide. He goes, Mom, I have this for the little kids. I'm like, come on, Dad, let's go. We're going down the slide.
I love it.
We had so much fun together. We laughed the entire trip, but we were traveling a bunch, and there was a lot of work, and so I didn't sleep. So every day I've been here, I've been taking afternoon naps, and they're getting longer and longer. Today, I took a 2.5-hour nap, and I woke up only because I was hungry.
Oh, my God.
I could have kept sleeping.
Your body needs it.
Yeah.
It's so good to sleep and get that rest.
Yeah, so I'm really enjoying it. And, you know, I got on the tractor and I was cutting the grass 2 days ago, I think it was. I was like, this is so fun. And I've been picking frogs out of the pool. You know, the stuff gets cleaned up in the pool. There's like that little net thing. And so I keep catching frogs in there and releasing them.
Did you save any lives? Because I feel like you always do that.
Oh, yeah. I think I caught 5 frogs. One that was the size of my head. He was a monster.
I think I saw that.
Yeah, he's huge. And then little ones. And so I saved the frogs for sure. And then we're also prepping for our name day party. So August 15th, we celebrate our name day. I think I've talked to you about this on the show before, but Greeks celebrate name days bigger than birthdays. So we're having a huge party here in Connecticut, And I have friends coming in from Greece and DC and Chicago, and we're going to have like 200 people. It's going to be like another wedding here.
I know. I'm so excited.
Which is so crazy. So I'm super excited. By the way, was the wedding everything you wanted and more?
I don't even have words. I mean, your dad is like a second father to me, but he didn't stop. He was making me a platform to stand on because he thought that the ground was a little too soggy for me to stand in. So 5 minutes before I walked down the aisle, he made me this giant platform because he didn't want me standing in the wet grass.
He's the best.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God, I can't even. He was the most mad when it started raining.
I know.
Out of everybody.
Well, Kevin was texting me and he's like, I can't believe this. The hail. And the hail was the size of a softball.
Yep.
Like, legitimately, I'm not being dramatic, actually, with this. And so Kevin's texting me video, and I'm, like, horrified. I've never seen hail that big in my life. And I said, okay, we're good. It's going to pass. At least it's hail. If it wasn't hail, I would think, oh, gosh, we're in trouble. But I knew it was going to pass. And everything was so beautiful. You were gorgeous.
Thank you so much.
I loved all the signage and the way you guys did everything. It was cool.
Do it yourself. That's what we had to do.
Yeah.
It was nice. I loved it. Me and Dan, my husband, we bonded so much over this, over this wedding. I mean, it was a lot of work. We were both like, so glad it's over, but
yeah, I know, more than just the planning. It's like you actually did the physical labor too to like make it nice. But what I also loved was I thought we were going to get stuck with all the cleanup here, and I go, wait, what? And Kevin goes, oh no, Dan, Mckenzie, they woke up at like early in the morning, all their friends came and everyone cleaned. I go, hold on, that never happens. Like, people don't come back to clean up. That's the unpopular thing, the unfun thing. He goes, no, everybody had fun. They had breakfast, whatever. And I was like, for you and Dan, the bride and groom, to wake up early the next day just to come clean, that was like insane. It would have been enough if your friends showed up for you, but I thought that was really cool too.
Oh yeah, we were like, let's get it done. And I mean, it gave us another excuse to go
get
back and hang out. And
exactly.
It was good.
I love it. Well, thank you guys for joining again on this Monday right here on Better Together. Like I said, Mckenzie is going to do a good, insightful interview with moi. I hope you guys enjoy it. It's going to be a 2-parter. So without further ado, here's it's so weird to introduce myself. Here's me with Mckenzie.
This is so cool though. I mean, this is what your viewers, everybody wants to hear.
Well, I hope so. I mean, we focus so much on health and wellness and spirituality, even finances. So I like branching out and doing other things too. So,
well, this is like a dream come true. You've like no idea.
No way.
It totally.
Are you nervous?
Are you kidding me? No,
Good.
I'm not. But one of my questions to you is like interviewing, and this is just, now we're going to go off for a second. Like, do you get nervous interviewing people?
For sure.
You do?
Yeah. Yeah. I think being a little nervous is good because it means that you want to do a good job. Like, it's not like if I'm about, like, I remember when I was going to interview Hillary Clinton, I was like having, a bit of a heart attack because it's also when you're going to interview somebody who's like beyond smart and super successful, you're just like, oh gosh, I hope I measure up. And I think it gives you that fire to really perform. And you just never know how things are going to go. So yeah, I think I get a little nervous. It's a healthy nervous.
Yes.
And depending on who it is and what the circumstances are, for sure.
Yeah. What interview it has been your favorite so far? Do you have one that just stands out to you? Yeah,
the Obama family interview for sure. I think, the fact that I was allowed and chosen to do that interview, that only family interview, no one else got it. No one else still has it. Was really an honor and cool. And yeah.
What did you do to prepare for something that huge?
I had no idea I was getting it. So the story is that I was working for Access Hollywood, the Today Show, and Nightly News at the time at NBC. And I tried to do like triple whammies when I could.
Yeah.
So it's like stories that could go work for everybody. So I had pitched a series called The Candidates' Kids to Nightly News. They loved it. A woman by the name of Alex Wallace was the executive producer. and she loved the idea. And it was my first pitch to Nightly News.
Oh my God.
And I had just kind of gotten in there. I'd done a story on the fires in Greece, and she's like, what else are you thinking about? And I said, I'd love to get to know the candidates through their kids, because it will be raw and genuine and not political. I want to know who these people are as people, and most of their kids are around my age. So she loved it. She greenlit it, and I started. And I think my first person was Sarah Huckabee at the time. And then I got Meghan McCain, and then I got the Romney boys. And then, I just kept going and going. And I had pitched the Obamas, but they said, the kids are too young. But let us know who you're getting and keep us posted. And so I found that to be a bit of an open door.
Okay.
And so lo and behold, 4th of July, I got a call from my boss at Access Hollywood that said, will you go to Butte, Montana to interview the then Senator Obama and his wife? And I said, yeah. And he said, nobody else wants to go, because it was the 4th of July. And, truthfully, did I really want to give up my 4th of July either? Not necessarily. I was so tired. I remember working so many hours and so many jobs. But Kevin was like, Maria, I'll go with you. I was like, okay, let's go. We'll make it a trip. And that's just me being totally truthful, because I don't want to make it seem like I was like, oh my God, yes, of course. There was a slight hesitation in a moment where you're like, oh, I'm so tired. Do I have to get on 3 planes?
Yeah.
It was 3 connections to get to Butte, Montana.
Oh my God.
Anyway, we got there, and I could tell that the kids were there, and Kevin took them on a tour of the mining museum. And so I had prepared for an interview with Michelle and Barack Obama. And soon enough, when the kids came back, they were like hanging on Kevin, because of course Kevin's so good with kids. And they were like, Uncle Kevin, we want to look at it again, take us again, and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my God, I think I'm getting an interview. And I could tell they were trying to see if the kids would warm up to me or whatever. So they're like, show them pictures of your dogs and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, okay. I think I see what's happening here. And so I don't know if I've ever told this story actually. And so I went, into this like room somewhere on the mining museum property and started writing questions out for the family, because now the interview changes. It's a family interview. And so I sat down, and the kids sat down, put mics on, and I was like, oh my God, this is really happening. And I was having a heart attack.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so what happened after that was, I remember going to the airport, and I was just spinning, because I'm like, holy shit, I just got an Obama family exclusive. This is going to be huge. And I remember bawling at the airport uncontrollably, because I think my body, I think I knew how important that was going to be in my life and in our lives as a country. Because I think without knowing, I knew he was going to win.
Oh, wow.
Because I just knew it was I knew it was a moment, and I didn't know why I was crying. But when I look back, any big moment that's happened, whether it was 9/11, like the days before, I'm hysterical. And so I must feel stuff. And we've all learned this with our empath discussions. But I knew it was a big moment. And then, of course, he ended up winning the election a few months later, and the rest is history.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
So in that, after the interview,
mm-hmm.
you have to scrummage to really, write down questions and prepare for it. Did you feel really good about the interview itself? Did you think I did a really good job?
Yeah, for sure. Because here's the thing. Your interview changes. And what happened was, we did exactly what I had wanted. I wanted to get to know who they were, or who he was specifically, through his kids. And the kids were so cute and so sweet. And they were like jabbing at him a little bit, like making fun of his like old belt and stuff like that. They were a real family. And so what happened with that interview, at that time, people thought that him and Michelle were a little elitist. And there was, there's always going to be negativity. But after that interview, everyone said that interview humanized them and made them look like such a down-to-earth family. And, I was doing the press circuit because everybody wanted to talk to me about it. And I got jabbed from so many in the press who were jealous that I got that interview. And they're like, she gave them a soft interview, or they went to Access Hollywood for a soft interview. And it's like, hold up. What would you ask a 9-year-old? Like, are you going to ask, his foreign policies? Are you going to ask what he's going to do about terrorism in this country? No, you're going to ask, like, how are you going to decorate your room at the White House if your dad wins the election? Like, you're going to ask, like, fun things about them as a family. What's daddy like? And,
I mean, going off of that, what is it like navigating through this career as such a successful woman? People taking jabs left and right. What is that like?
Well, that part's not fun, Mckenzie.
Yeah, I don't think it doesn't sound fun, but you do it so gracefully.
Thank God I have Keven. I would probably be dead right now. It's not easy, but that's what the part that people don't ever see or don't understand. So, the stakes are higher and you have to deal with a lot of shit as well, unfortunately.
But you stay so grounded in this business. What keeps you so grounded?
Have you met my parents?
Yes. I was hoping that was gonna be part of the answer. Yeah. But you yourself, there has to be. What are the techniques going through when you're not around your parents all the time? Or
I think for me, my number one goal was always to make my parents proud. And so that grounds me because I'm not going to do anything that's going to embarrass them necessarily. Listen, I'm not perfect and I've had my moments where I've gotten a little too drunk or been stupid or whatever. But for the most part, I really think that that's helped. And they're a very big part of my life. We went to this restaurant in New York called Menounos. It's an amazing Greek restaurant. And my dad and I were there with our friends. And I said, Dad, do you remember we came here to meet with my agent? So my agent, I was meeting with a new agent at the time. His name is John Rosen at William Morris. And I brought my parents to the meeting. And he was like, wait, what's happening here? You brought your parents to a prospective agent meeting? And I go, yeah, it's a big decision. And we do these things as a family. Oh. He literally talks about it to this day. We've been together over a decade now. But I think they really help keep me grounded. And Keven for sure. And I think it's just who you are too. Like, I didn't get swept away with everything. I think it's really easy to get swept away with stuff. There are moments where, that I would take back, probably like little things that, sometimes when you start off in your career, the people that are ahead of you who are entitled, you start to adopt a little of their stuff and think, well, why do I have to do this? And I don't want to do that because they're saying that. So it makes you feel like you shouldn't be doing it either. And now I look back and, eventually that all kind of faded. And I realized, oh, that was just them being lame. And, I can't believe I adopted any of that at any point in my career,
Yeah. I mean, so through your career, I have you to look up to and just, get all this great advice. I leave seeing you for 5 minutes with all this great advice. Who is it for you? What is the best advice you've ever gotten?
That's tough. I definitely didn't have a Maria. I had Keven and I had my agents along the way that I would lean on. My lawyer, Kevin Yorn, has always been really great with advice and so I've leaned on some of them. But talent isn't very giving generally.
Yeah.
So you guys are a little spoiled, I have to say, at AfterBuzz because we live our lives to do the opposite of what we've gotten. So while I was out there taking the lumps, I'm building AfterBuzz so that you guys don't have to take those lumps as much. Or while they're holding me down as a talent, we're lifting you guys up as a talent. So everything I got that was negative, I made sure over here I perpetuated the complete opposite. So yeah, it's a dog-eat-dog world out there, Mckenzie.
Seriously. I mean, one of the biggest things I've learned from AfterBuzz was we don't cut corners. You don't sleep with somebody to get where you want to be. You don't hurt somebody to get where you want to be. How did you, not having AfterBuzz, how did you know how to just stay? I mean, I know it was you, but was there anything else that kind of kept you on
Listen,
keeping your morals.
I always say that all of us are capable of doing the thing that we think we would never do under different circumstances. And I mean everything. We're all humans and we all make the same mistakes, right? Or we are capable of making the same mistakes. And so if I didn't have Keven, who knows what could have happened, right? I always think back to high school, like the boys that I liked in high school. If I was allowed to date, which thank God my parents didn't let me date, if I was allowed to date, I would have gotten involved with boys at the time that were doing drugs. Now, how long would I have been able, how long would I have been able truthfully to stay strong and say no?
Yeah.
When you're in love. And so the company you keep is so important. My dad always used to say, tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are.
Oh, and I love that.
Yeah, it's a great one. And I really tried to stick to that. Luckily, the cool kids didn't want me to be a part of their group. So I came out unscathed. But, I think of that all the time. Like, had I been allowed to date and dated the boys that I like to date, who knows where my path would have taken me, right? Like, I'd like to think that I would have done all the right things too. But sometimes you put yourself in circumstances that your willpower will only work so long. So I don't know what would have happened had my career not taken off the way it did.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have Keven. So I'd like to think I know myself, and we all like to think we know ourselves, but sometimes circumstances create alter egos or I don't know. I just don't want to come off like I think I would be perfect either way.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It really does make sense. Well, speaking of relationships, I mean, you and Keven, 20 years. You guys have been together forever.
I think it might be longer now.
Is it 21, 22?
Time. I think I was 19. I just turned 41. I think we might be going on 21 in April. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
20 and a half.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you have been together with the same guy for 21 years.
Almost, yeah.
How? People out there, I just got married. How? I want to know. What is the secret sauce?
Well, he's been my best friend through everything. Always had my back. Even this morning we were having a conversation. He goes, I want you to be successful more than you. Oh. I want you to be happy more than you do. And I believe him and he's right. Yeah. So I think, I just found my best friend, and it's not easy, and you have your ups and downs, and you'll see in your relationship, you'll have your ups and downs. But, if that friendship is there at the base, and then you work on it, you know what I mean?
How do you fight with Keven? What is it like fighting? How do you disagree?
Oh my God, we fight a lot. So I'm trying to be better with my fights now. So I try to keep it a little more calm, but I don't know. I'm trying to think of how I would role play this for you now. But he'll be lecturing me and I'm like, oh my God, stop.
Okay.
I'll just sit there and be quiet, and then I'll just be like, okay. So sometimes I just give in. Other times, like more in the last couple years, I'll like stand up for myself and make my opinion heard and whatever. But most of the time I just knew it's just not going to go anywhere. Like, you might as well just...
So you're just that calm?
No, not always. Not always. Yeah.
Well, how do you, I know they always say, because I just got married, so I'd always ask people when I'd meet them, oh, we've been married for this long. I'd say, what is the secret? What is the secret to marriage? And they would say, putting your ego aside. A lot of people out hear that all the time. Do you have any advice for putting your ego aside?
Yeah, I think that's when I'm saying, like, I would just give in. I think that was kind of my version of that, because we're always going to have a side. Each of us is going to have a side. And so if your side isn't that strong, or you just want it to end and you want to move forward, you just kind of let them have their way and just whatever, move on.
Yeah.
But I think the real secret is to be best friends, and, to have that like layer of, ride or die. We're there for each other, And, you put the fear of God into them and tell them you'll chop off their penis if they ever do anything bad. What?
Who said that?
Make sure you tell Dan.
Oh, he knows.
I remember when I first met Kevin, I said, listen, if you ever are tempted, if you ever want to stray, just call me. I will be fine eventually. Just call me. Do not bring me home diseases. And if you ever were to try to hide it, just know I'm Greek and I have a good Greek gut. I will know. And when you don't even know what's coming, I will chop you off so fast and fearlessly and without guilt.
Yeah.
And it will be horrible. And so he believes me. He knows I'm nuts. He knows I will. And so, yep.
Well, on that note,
that might be TMI, guys.
No, but that's perfect. That's what we all came here for.
Yeah,
that exact advice. We need that.
Put the fear of God into them.
Why do you think relationships fail, though?
Well, I think I can give you a good perspective on Hollywood relationships and why they fail. Because what people don't understand is when someone is working in this business and they have to leave for 6 months and go make a movie. And generally, say they're an actor and now they're making out with you on set. Like, you're going to catch feelings. It's going to happen no matter what.
Yes.
It's not just acting, guys. Like, it is, and you have to hold it together, right? No matter what. I've been there. I understand the whole process. Even Dancing with the Stars, like your genitals are rubbing up against each other for 8 hours a day for 14 weeks, 7 days a week. Guys, things happen. Feelings, whether you like it or not, stuff happens. So you have to be so strong to shut that down. And I don't think everyone is strong enough to just shut it down. Eventually it wears you down. And so in Hollywood, your partners are leaving for 6 months and then they're back for a month and then they're gone again. And that's what their livelihood is like. No different than athletes and musicians. So it's really hard to keep that connection when people aren't together. So you and Dan are always going to be together. So you're not going to have that issue. But if there was something that was to happen, say you got a job in California, this is going to present a major issue. It is going to be very difficult, not impossible. But it makes it really hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
So proximity is power in business and in relationships. And so you want to make sure that, that you have that. It's really hard otherwise. So Keven, for example, would drive me everywhere. So when I was working 20 hours a day like a psycho and I was traveling a lot, he would drive me to get my nails done and sit in the chair next to me so that we could talk and we could be together. Ryan and I were talking on Live with Kelly this week about how we used to work out at the same gym. He's like, I remember Keven would be in the car outside. And so he always was with me because if you don't see each other, you can't nurture. You're not watering that plant, right? The plant needs to be watered.
Yeah.
And that's your relationship.
Wow. I mean, that is so true. And it really shows that how far you're willing to go for that person. If he's going to sit and watch you get your nails done, that's a true man.
Oh my God, he's the best.
I don't know if Dan would do that, honestly. But
if he missed you enough, he would.
Maybe. I don't know. That guy is like no emotions Nelly. Seriously.
Dan?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, seriously. Like, Kevin's an emotional guy, do you think? Okay.
Super, yeah.
So what advice would you have for somebody that is literally not emotional?
Well, we could start working on it so it doesn't become a problem down the line because eventually it's going to wear on you. How does he present himself emotionless to you?
We've been together for 9 years, but so I kind of grew up with him. I was like, we were little babies and I don't know. He just doesn't, all my friends say, oh my God, you could go and hang out with any guy and Dan just wouldn't care. Or like you could go on a vacation for 7 weeks and he'd be like, oh yeah, have fun. He's just very secure and I take it as like,
yeah. Have you talked to him about it?
Yeah. And what he knows. I always say, he's like, yeah, I don't really.
And what does he say? Is it because he's just secure?
Yeah. He says, I don't know. I don't care. You do whatever you want.
Okay. Well, hey, you got it good. Keven didn't either. Keven was super secure. I could go hang out with guy friends and he never thought twice about it. He'd actually encourage me to. At different times when he knew like I would feel good, like from a certain friend who he knew would give me good advice or whatever. I'd be like, go see this person or go see that person. So it's good that they're secure.
Yeah,
definitely. The worst is when they have the opposite.
So a lot of people my age, especially, and I know this because so many of my friends, and I hope so, well, I'm not going to say names, but they have relationships, and in public or in front of company, in front of friends, they'll have these arguments or bicker, you know. How do you go around that when you're in front of people and he pisses you off or does something, you know? Do you hash it out right there, or do you wait till later?
I mean, we've definitely hashed it out sometimes, like in front of like some different team members or whatever. But I mean, yeah, you kind of just have to hold it together, and then when you get in the car, be like, you know, that wasn't really cool.
Yeah.
You know,
so hard. I just see it all the time. We'll be at a dinner and you just see this next couple like screaming at each other. The girl gets up and walks away. Like, oh God.
Yeah, you can't do that. First of all, you're ruining everyone else's experience too.
Yeah.
So, well, Mckenzie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You got everything you wanted to know out?
I mean, I could go all night, but...
Okay, well, we got to get to the Cohen ice cream place.
Seriously.
What time is it here? We got to get to an ice cream place. Anyhow, thank you so much. And thank you guys for listening, as always, to Better Together with Maria Menounos. You can find us here on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify every Monday. Please be sure to rate, subscribe, comment. We love reading your comments. I'm not going to lie. I actually check my comments now more than Instagram. Okay. Because I love reading everything. You guys are so sweet, and you just completely just get me so excited for what we're doing. And we all work really, really hard on this show. So share it with people. If you love an episode, share it on Twitter or on Instagram with your friends and expose them to this, because I feel like we're bringing in such cool people that is really that are really informative and really helpful on our journeys. And so that would be really cool. So let's bring more people to the table so we can all get better together.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
In the meantime, if you want to follow us, you can follow us at Maria Menounos, at Mckenzie Fain, Frank.
Fried. It hasn't changed it yet.
I'm kidding.
Because I'm freaking out.
At Mckenzie Fain, at Steph Sabra, at Stephen Lemieux Photo. And remember, be nice people, make good choices, and be present.